I want to make this video in order for this drama to stop because it has been stressing me out for a couple of weeks and I felt pressured to respond to most people's DMs about my controversy, such as the exposure video and what I did in my previous live streams. This has been going on for quite a while. I have been taking a break from Discord to avoid this and recover from what I've been going through since I was mostly targeted to be called out, and I want to make this as a response and an apology. I'm also going to be explaining my side about this person in particular and having a real, reasonable explanation on why I would make a video about them. Just to be clear, whoever is mentioned in this video, please do not go and harass them or confront them about this. We actually talked this out and made amends, so we're all good here. But we're both gonna go on different paths and not communicate with each other ever again, for the sake of my safety and my mental health. Back in October 2025, I opened my Discord server for my viewers to join and interact with people. I also made it to meet my viewers and wanting to get along with my own interests, which all goes well, and that leads me to meet someone in particular, which is Lila. If you don't know who Lila is, they're around 19 to 20 years old, which counts to also be an adult who also goes by Apple Tree on YouTube with over 300 subscribers. They are also a small gacha tuber who makes edits and FNAF content on their channel. When I first met Lila, I was neutral with them being on my server and recognizing them on my channel whenever they comment. For them, I didn't see any problem until my IRL friend messaged me about them. The first thing is they asked if I ever interacted with Lila, to which I respond saying, I mostly interacted with them on my server, but we aren't that close. Why? And they said that it's odd for Lila to talk about sex between Michael and Noah towards minors while she's an adult. I know this is so sudden and probably random, but every time I read through the Michael x Noah section, she's always talking weirdly about those two. And it's just very odd to me and disturbing, to be honest. In context, ever since I made my Discord server, I'm jokingly known as to be the sussy baka, which means that I just make spice out of my top favorite ship, which is Michael x Noah. People are making jokes on a Michael x Noah channel, which is really inappropriate and unnecessary to talk about when there are minors on the server. But as an owner, I didn't do anything about it until my friends spoke to me about it. After they told me about this, I immediately took action and cleared all the messages on that channel. So sadly, I don't have a screenshot from what's been happening or from Lila saying all that. I made an announcement saying that I should have been a great owner to take care of my server and take responsibility for people who talk weirdly about the ship, which people understood, and so far there are no more jokes about it. I do find this very odd because when exposing me about showing minors the inappropriate Michael x Noah edit, my friend did mention that it was mostly Lila who made those sex jokes on that channel, while others weren't also doing that. From what I recall, most people were just making silly jokes that doesn't involve sex, besides Lila doing that. So I find it hypocritical for Lila and someone to tell anyone about me and my actions so suddenly. By the messages between me and my friend, it was mostly about Lila saying that is what I'm gonna show. This is the first part about my perspective on Lila. Moving on to the second part. The second part is how Lila was making people uncomfortable according to what my IRL friends said. They said I'm probably overreacting. I read her info and I guess she stated I can be mean sometimes and I can see that. I don't know if it's her humor or her way of talking, but she's kind of rude. I don't know. And in fact, she constantly says I miss Mindy. I find it weird how an adult says they miss a minor a lot of times. which is true. Whenever people message on my server, Lila interferes saying, okay, or okay, the fuck. It really isn't their business to say that if people are just having a conversation between two people and have one just come in being rude or just care less, which is also against the server rules. I DM Lila about this and give them a warning, and they apologize and explain why they would do that, such as waking up in a bad mood, or get aggressive, or get mad easily, and sometimes anger issues get inside them. I did respond saying that there's no reason to be mad at someone on my server, especially if it isn't their business or for them to interfere, because in this case, it shouldn't be unnecessary for someone to respond to people's conversation and being rude about it. Even when they say hi or good morning, if you feel like being rude to people, keep your emotions to yourself or to your status. Here are the screenshots from that day. And for what my friends said about Lila saying I miss Mindy, in my perspective, they've been constantly saying that a lot whenever I'm inactive or I'm busy in life. When I see those messages, I feel really uncomfortable from an adult saying that or just didn't say anything about it. When I told my friend about it, they said that they're gonna DM Lila to stop saying that, which leads to either Lila doesn't like them in general or saying that if we're doing this just because they're black. When my friends showed me that message, it made me confused and irritated. From what Lila said, it changes my perspective on them, which also changes the way I treat them. When making sex jokes, being rude to others, and assuming that we only take action on them made me just want to not speak or kick them out of my server. Another thing that happened on that day is when Lila makes an introduction which involves mentioning having scars on their wrist, which can be triggering for people in the server as well as for me, despite being one of those people. I find this triggering to add that as a part of an introduction, but I asked them to censor that sentence. But they would just say, I don't know how to, even though we already explained to them how to do that. For a couple of minutes, they didn't censor it and it was deleted due to being triggering. From that, it was a last straw for me and I had the urge to kick Lila out. When talking about this with my friend, they ask if I feel uncomfortable with them on my server. And I'm gonna be honest, by their actions they've been doing, which is concerning, yes, I do feel uncomfortable having them on my server, yet I didn't kick them out, but I did it anyways. Even though they can rejoin, there's no action to it. The part that made me mad was when Lila still constantly makes jokes about Michael X Noah. It's mostly about them doing sex, or whenever I'm inactive, they would say, Mindy is probably busy making Michael X Noah doing something, especially when they made a voice message about it that made me uncomfortable with someone I don't even know or make inside jokes with, to the point I made a Venn community post about it. It sounds hypocritical, but at the same time, it's a server full of minors, and this joke has been stopped due to that, and it just keeps on going, as what my friend said. Yes, I make jokes about it, but I'm also responsible to take care of my server and prevent minors from seeing it. I cannot allow these types of things besides if I'm doing this with my friends or privately. After all the actions that Lila has done, my friend came and told me to ban them. They found some hints about Lila dating a minor, which I responded saying, how do you know? Because I have no clue if I should believe that or not. And they say something about these two having bios from what Lila has on theirs, saying they're taken. And when my friend talked and confronted that minor, they said, I'm not exactly too sure, but when I was confronting the minor about her message, she says that her girlfriend gets a bit out of control with jokes and doesn't stop, and the only person who kept continuing the joke was Lila. I did get an answer from Lila that they confirmed that they are dating a minor. This leads to banning them from my server, along with telling my other friends about them. The last thing that really makes me bothered and mad is when Lila chats with me on my live streams. When it comes to me playing my own music in my stream, that time I was playing Don't Trust Me by 303, an old song that has some strange lyrics and a song that I used to listen when I was young. Lil says to skip the song, it makes them uncomfortable, which I could understand, but at the same time, this is my stream. If people don't like to hear the song, they could just leave, but instead, I let my anger get to me and got mad on my stream and at Lila. To which I immediately apologized because I hate whenever I get mad, I feel bad suddenly and just don't want to be a jerk for doing that. And from what I remember, Lila responded saying, oh, I should have kept my mouth shut, or saying things like, I get attacked whenever I say something. And when they were asking these childish questions like, why do people walk, or other questions that made me mad for some reason. For me, I shouldn't have a reason to be mad at my viewers, or shouldn't have. I'm mostly mad because of Lola. From what they've done in the past and their actions, it really affects me and my mental health. My friend messaged me asking, did Lola talk to you in your stream yesterday? And I responded with, she was, which also means yes. And if I did respond, I said some, but some of her questions or responses are rude. I was mostly pissed off during the stream because of her. They asked why did I respond to them, and to be honest, I don't know why, despite their actions, and I didn't want to cause any drama during my stream or ignoring people's messages. I was recommended to hide their username to prevent me from seeing their messages, since whenever Lila talks, they make me mad and YouTube can block people. They also said this about my perspective on Lila. I know you hate anything regarding Lila, but I want you to stay far away from her, as in blocking and flat out stop interacting with her, even if she asks stupid questions and irritates you. I know it's getting annoying, but she's proven herself a weirdo, and I just don't want you to get in some type of trouble or something. So with all this explanation and screenshots from Lila and my conversations with my IRL friend, I have a false side with Lila before I was told and informed they were dating a minor, or as I thought. I didn't make that exposure video just to tell lies about Lila being on minor's side or not listening to them. I made that video because I highly disliked Lila from their past actions that affected me. In the exposure video, I didn't get enough evidence that proves Lila about being a pedophile. I just let that go and have Lila being called out with no proof that they were. Which I shouldn't have, despite giving me screenshots. I still didn't want to listen to them because of their past actions towards me. All I want is Lila to stop what she is doing and leave me alone, along with other friends who also feel the same way. Although it isn't right for me to post that anyway. Okay, this part I'm about to say that happened recently, around a few days ago, that I couldn't stop thinking or has been in my head, is when I was being confronted by Lila because my friend, who is Killer, goes on and having an alt account said to make a group chat with them because me and my friend Katie were told that Lila has been bothering her in the messages and begging us to talk. So we did, and as I thought, it really didn't go very well. We asked Lil why they wanted to talk to us and were lying that they did not say that and trying to gaslight us that we wanted to bother them, even though we have no intentions on doing that. When Lila was telling me about what I did wrong, such as showing the Michael X Noah edit and yelling in one of my streams, which were deleted for other reasons. I tried my best to explain what is going on with me or saying that I have no intention on hurting anyone verbally. But then Lila kept on interrupting my side and was constantly saying that I was mostly hurting them and their mental health. From what I said in some parts of what Lila did to me, they're one of the reasons why my mental health has gotten worse. I've seen the worst side from what my IRL friend told me and saying that I need to stay away from Lila as much as possible because of how much it makes me feel worse whenever they're present. It got to the point when Lila is trying to make me look bad by showing a screenshot of my photo gallery during my live stream, even though I have no intention of showing that while I was editing the video. What Lila said about the sixth one, it's a thumbnail of edX Matt from Ed's World. From a video, I like you more than your looks. The full image is just Matt holding on Ed's waist. There's nothing wrong about that. It's just romance. There's nothing sexual or inappropriate about it. It's a ship video. It should have been obvious of what the image would look like if you watched that video on my channel. Why are you even focusing on that? While being in a group chat, we somehow just ended up apologizing, especially to them for how they treated me. We decided to at least be on good terms and never be in contact ever again, which made me feel delusional. The reason why I would be on good terms with Lila is because my friend Killer was there in a chat with us, and she's been away for a couple of weeks without knowing what's been going on. I was taken advantage to forgive Lila because Killer was defending them and saying that adults were rightfully manipulated by a minor, feeling betrayed that I never told her about showing the Michael X Noah edit, even though I showed her and Katie before and she responded, and saying that we could have been good friends despite our common interest. At first, I didn't see anything wrong, but I was mostly suspicious of Killer's actions. At the same time, I didn't want to start a fight or lose one of my friends, so I went along with what Killer would do and just forgave Lila. Then we left the group chat. Then, a couple of days later, Killer said she's actually back on her main account, but then stated that she never made an alt account or doesn't remember that we chatted with Lila. At first, I thought it was a joke, but when talking to Katie about this, it made me realize that the person who made an alt account is not Killer. After rereading those messages, I was upset. This is not how Killer would act or type in these types of situations. At that point, it made me so mad and upset because not only I was lied to, but kept on being bothered. Lila and her friend were trying to make me talk to them about my situation, even though I never wanted to contact them, but able to find a way to. I was so sick in the head, I was naive to believe that it was Killer, and their plan was to make me forgive Lila, which I regret. I am not forgiving Lila for what they've done to me and want them to leave me alone is what I wanted. Now, another thing that's been going on is during one of my past live streams. This does not involve Lila. It involves me that I've caused. This is when I was probably cut off by one of my friends on Discord because of what I did, and that is showing minors my Michael X Noah edit. So my explanation of why I did that. 1. As I said, I was known jokingly as a sussy baka who makes Michael X Noah spice. So I would make jokes about them, but not with too much information of what they do in context. 2. My channel is not for kids. Therefore, my content is mostly involved with violence, blood, swearing, etc., especially when it comes to Michael X Noah videos with jokes. I've seen many people make these types of videos with them, but they don't show much in the frame, so I thought it would be okay to show it without thinking of any consequences. I'm a 16-year-old teenager who still has her brain developing new things, and I wasn't properly taught or learned of what's bad about it. These kinds of videos are my comfort zone whenever I'm having a bad day or wanting something to entertain myself. I love these types of videos to the point I want to make an edit out of it. When I showed the edit, I didn't think it would be that bad to minors. The people who saw it had no problem despite knowing who I am. I was showing my true personality. I even asked one of my friends if they're okay with me being like that. They say that I'm just being me. But at the same time, I wouldn't show much of what Michael and Noah do. If I did show minors of Michael and Noah having sex, doing these weird actions, or being fully naked, I shouldn't allow myself to show that. I count that as gotcha heat or pornography. In this edit, they're only half naked with being in their boxers and Michael being on top of Noah. I don't want to give out too much information about it, but in my point of view, I didn't see any problem with it. But in this case, I should have known better and think twice before showing this to minors. I should have given them a warning of what I'm about to show or shouldn't be. In my live stream, I was also told that I was yelling and shouting at people, which it's normally my normal tone. I didn't mean to make my voice sound like I'm abusing or yelling at my viewers. If I was informed about it, I would keep it down and apologize. But I also find this ridiculous despite this is how I sound in most of my streams. People have not told me that they have a problem with my yelling or if I'm aware that I'm yelling or shouting because I did not know my normal tone would sound like it. With that, I want to fully apologize. I'm very deeply sorry for people who received DMs from someone about me and what I did. It wasn't my intention to hurt minors as myself, who is also a minor. I don't know anything or know what consequences I would have, and I'm learning from that mistake. For now, I'm trying to be more careful of what I show on the internet. As for anyone else who has contact with me, I do want you all to hear my side first and explain myself why I did it. It was never meant to attack you or be hurt. Again, I am deeply sorry for my actions. I'll make it up to everyone who has seen what I've done. That will be all for my response. I want to make this video in order for Lila and other people to stop messaging anyone or my friends about me and what I did. And in order to explain my reason why I want Lila to stay away or leave me alone because of their past actions. I do apologize for making that exposure video with no actual proof. For the Michael X Noah edit, I have already explained and apologized for my wrongdoings, and I hope that this drama will be done soon. Thank you for listening.